Texting. Hey, how are we tonight? Welcome back to the Mid-Sack on a Tip 'em Back Tuesday, or a Tokum Tuesday, depending on what your poison is, boys and girls. Welcome back to IDD. I don't disagree. I am the highly questionable one, RJ Miliaccio. Flying solo tonight, the redoubtable one will return, I think, tomorrow night. Tom Izzo, he's on the back-to-back of a 2-day cleanse. And those babies will test you. They'll test your soul. They'll test your grit. They'll test everything that makes you a man or a woman in this world, boys and girls. So hopefully Tom is finishing up that strong, and we wish him well. Hopefully we will see him tomorrow night or Thursday night whenever we do record again. But I am back because I've been gone for a week and a half down in Myrtle Beach vacation. Hope you all had a great Easter. Went down to see the moms down there in Myrtle Beach. Had a glorious week. Got sunburned. But it was gorgeous weather. Got to go to the inlet. Got to take a boat out, see the dolphins, all that good stuff down there. And the food, oh baby, the food. I mean, my God, it was worth every penny, every bite, every calorie, and there was plenty of them, trust me. But I am back, and with a vengeance, because as I said, we've been gone, but it's been like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks since our last recording. And there are just things I've been sitting on that, quite frankly, boys and girls, I cannot sit on any longer, because we're talking Boston sports tonight. And we will get into the Bruins right now with 6:39 to go in the third. The Bruins are up 4-2 on the hometown, because they're down in Virginia now, boys and girls, the Washington Capitals, who are essentially playing for nothing. Their season is over. But the Bruins, if they win tonight, will set another record, which would be most points in NHL history. We will devote an entire segment to them later. But I want to get the bad and the ugly out of the way first. This is the stuff that's had me stewing for about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks now. So we're going to start. We're not going to spend too much time on the shit sucks, because that's exactly what they are. You knew that already. And last night, when the pitching actually showed up, which tell me how many times this year that you can say that, the pitching showed up. It was a 0-0 game in the 8th, so the starter, whatever his name was, I can't remember his name because who gives a shit, it's one start. But whoever this guy was, he went 6 scoreless innings. I think he struck out 6, scattered 4 or 5 hits, did his job, got to the bullpen. The guy gave up a dinger, a solo shot in the 8th. They lose 1-0. It was a heartbreaker. The Rays have won now because they won tonight. They bum blasted them 7-2, so they're 11-0 now. But that was their chance to steal one, and the pitching staff actually showed up. And lo and behold, the bats, the one thing they had been doing pretty well, 3 freaking hits. Now, Tampa Bay is known for their pitching. That's where they've made their bones. So am I surprised that the Red Sox didn't score? Not necessarily. Am I surprised they only got 3 hits? That's kind of a shocker, given they were hitting the ball pretty well. Tonight, reality set in. The pitching staff got blasted. The bats didn't do it nearly enough, and they got bent over 7-2. So that's 2 in a row they've dropped to these guys who were in first place and the best record in baseball. Everybody's looking up at them, and I don't know who's going tomorrow. I don't know that I really care, because, like I said before, this season is over already. We'll check in again July 4th. I hope I'm wrong, but when you get swept at home by the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are a perennial cellar dweller in the other league, don't talk to me about optimism right now, okay? The only encouraging news, if you want to call it encouraging, given his first start, is that Chris Sale is not on the DL yet, or is he? I don't even know. I haven't paid attention. But his first start, he might as well have been, because he gave up 7 runs on 7 hits and got blasted. So now, will he pitch better? Probably. Yeah, he's not that bad, but who the hell knows? Anyway, that's where they stand right now. They were 5-5, tonight they're now 5-6. So they're probably in the cellar again. I believe, for those of you in the New York area, or jonesing for some Mets talk, I think, I don't know, but I think, if I'm right, I thought the Mets were winning, but I hadn't seen the score. No, the Mets are losing to the Padres 2-1 in the top of the night. So that's a dawning. Tom's probably watching that on his couch if he's still awake. Looks like the Padres are up, and there's a runner on second. So Tom will sure be back. He'll update us on their happenings, but as of right now, they're in trouble because their closer's down. They still got plenty of offense and still should have some pitching, but Scherzer's down too. So anyway, right now, how long he's out, who knows? Tom would know, but he'll let you know on that later. But that's the shit sucks and baseball update for this evening. This first segment, though, is going to be devoted to the New England Patriots and what has become the most disgusting waste of a time soap opera I've ever seen in my life as a Boston sports fan. The ongoing, supposedly, whatever it is, inner turmoil, the divide, I guess you want to call it. There's been a lot of words being used by the Boston media to sum up the current status of the relationship between Bill Belichick and his number 1 draft pick, Mac Jones. I don't really know how anyone, and again, I said this 3 years ago, I am not smarter than anybody watching this or who could watch this. All I did when Tom Brady walked out the door was Google Bill Belichick's record without Tom Brady. And what I found was eye-opening. And that was that the man only had one winning season out of 5 without the guy. Okay, in 6 seasons. I don't count the one where he didn't play because they didn't make the playoffs and they played a dirtbag schedule. They only beat 2 teams with a winning record that year when they went 11-5. And Matt Castle was a shell of what Tom Brady was the year before, with basically the same offense. Dante Stallworth was the only guy not there, but he put up garbage numbers. They were 11-5. They didn't 11-5 and didn't get in the playoffs, but they beat nobody other than I think 2 teams with a 500 or better record that year. So that was the only thing. And look, I don't know why no one looked this up. Okay, but letting the greatest football player who ever lived walk out the door when he could still play, when a bad year is 4,000 yards and a 3-to-1 interception, touchdown interception ratio is complete. That to me, you lack common sense. If you don't know what that means, you don't know anything about football, because there's no coach in the NFL that wouldn't take a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio from their quarterback. Forget the name. Put any name on it you want. If the quarterback's going to have a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, any coach on this planet, football coach, would take that. Okay, and that was a bad year for Tom Brady, and he had no weapons, and that's what he complained about. And instead of drafting either Deebo Samuel or DK Metcalf or A.J. Brown, look up their numbers, by the way, because he missed on all 3 of them for N'Keal freaking Harry, who we gave away for a 7th-round draft pick. That's how bad he was. Okay, and then after letting Brady walk, he drafts Mac Jones. That was the smart play because Mac Jones can play. Mac Jones is a national champion. Mac Jones was a Heisman candidate. Mac Jones is a winner, boys and girls, and in his rookie year, with no number 1 receiver, he made the Pro Bowl. I got news for you, boys and girls. 2 years later, he still doesn't have a number 1 receiver. And when me and Tom were talking about Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, I call him Danny Hundreds now, Danny Thousands, Danny Mills, because he cashed in. I kept saying to Tom when he was bashing Daniel Jones, he doesn't have a number 1 receiver. How can you fairly evaluate him? Mac Jones has never had a number 1 receiver. He's actually made a Pro Bowl. So what does this genius, this savant, this god that you people make him out to be do? Because Bill Belichick has always talked about setting his players up to succeed. How in God's green fucking earth is hiring the 2 worst coaches at that level, because that's what Matt Patricia and Joe Judge were at the time, the 2 worst coaches at that level, how is hiring those 2 and putting them in charge of your offense setting Mac Jones up for success? And furthermore, how is spending $175 million of Robert Kraft's money in 72 hours, which Louis Riddick, who I have a lot of admiration and respect for, he knows his football, and he played for Belichick, so I get the devotion and the loyalty to him, okay? But how is he called it scorched earth. Let's talk about scorched earth here, Louis Riddick, because those 4 guys that he went out and got, okay, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Bourne and Aguilar, 2 burners on the outside, 2 receivers, amounted to, in 2 years, 0 Pro Bowls. 0. Not one 1,000-yard receiving season between the 4. None of them. Hunter Henry, the first year, had a pulse. He had 9 touchdown catches, about 600-something yards. He had a decent year. He had a decent first year. I don't know where he was last year. He really wasn't around that much. But to sit here and say this crap, okay, or to utter this swill about Bill Belichick and how great he is when everything speaks to the exact opposite, that it was more Tom Brady than even I knew. Okay, if we're being honest here. Okay, his first year, they go 5-11. Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback. Drew Bledsoe was in his prime. Drew Bledsoe was a perennial Pro Bowler. Drew Bledsoe was so good, Robert Kraft gave him the first $100 million contract in NFL history. And with that team and that defense, who was a top 10 defense, they went 5-11. Okay? Now, he didn't draft any of that defense. Now, he drafted Richard Seymour the next year. He's one guy. Okay? That defense had already been to a Super Bowl. That quarterback had been to a Super Bowl. He couldn't win with them. He couldn't even finish 500 with them. That should have been a red flag right there. He only drafted Tom Brady because the late, great Dick Rabine talked him into it. He wasn't even on Brady. Brady wasn't even on his radar. And don't tell me he was, because there's no way Bill Belichick missed on him 5 times on purpose. No. He didn't know. And furthermore, he didn't care. It was a low-risk, high-reward move. 6th-round pick, Drew's going to have a backup, he bails out. There's no skin off Belichick's if Brady doesn't pan out. He loses nothing there. It's a low-risk, high-reward move, okay? By the way, in honor of Tom, of course, Dr. Pepper, the greatest soft drink ever. Tom nailed that one. That was one of the main things he got right. So anyway, back to this freaking drama session. OTAs is next Monday. The team is going to be together for the first time this offseason. And I'm, based on all the crap I'm reading, which a lot of it is crap, if we're being honest, because they're throwing shit at the wall, they being the Boston media, and trying to see what sticks. And it's turned into now, well, Bill is mad at Mac for seeking help outside the organization. Well, what was Mac supposed to do? Was Mac supposed to take this lying down? You put these two imbeciles in charge. Okay, everybody who's considered an expert as an NFL analyst thought this was a bad move last August. All of them. The only reason they didn't give it a flat out was because it was Bill Belichick. That is the only reason they didn't go, are you kidding me? This guy's going to get fired for this. And if it was any other coach, he would have been fired for that move, or those two moves. Because those two guys couldn't find their asshole with a 10-man working crew and a flashlight. Give it to both of them. Okay? They're both idiots. They're both not, no one's going after them now. No one was going after them then. Okay? When they got fired from Detroit, which was Patricia, and the Giants, which was Joe Judge, respectively, look what those teams did last year. Detroit goes from 3-13 to 9-8. Look at Jared Goff's numbers from year to year. Okay? From that year to the next year. Okay? Jared Goff looked like a guy who'd been to a Super Bowl. But you never know with Matt Patricia coaching him. Okay? He leaves, look what he does. Joe Judge gets fired from the Giants. They make the fucking playoffs. They win a playoff game. And Daniel Jones, who he said Tom couldn't play, now he's got a fucking 4-year deal, or 2-year guaranteed deal, whatever it is. But he's got $82 million coming to him, and he earned it. And by the way, he still doesn't have a number one receiver. Okay? But those two guys ruined two quarterbacks right before our very eyes. And Bill Belichick thought that these two morons were going to come in and they were going to help make Mac Jones better. Common sense tells you that's ridiculous. That's utterly ridiculous. Okay? So I don't give a shit, Bill, if Mac Jones went outside. Mac Jones is a winner. Mac Jones is a national champion. Mac Jones was not going to sit there and let his season go down the toilet. So he went outside the organization for help because he wasn't getting any from the guy who's supposed to be the end-all, be-all. And where did he turn to? He turned to Alabama. Who's the coach at Alabama? Nick fucking Saban, who's a Bill Belichick buddy. Okay? He called his Alabama coaches for guidance, for help. So this kid was not going to accept his fate. He kept trying to find help. He kept trying to work it out. He didn't give up. And you're gonna lambaste him for that? Hey, Bill, by the way, did you think it wasn't gonna get out that you fucked this up because Mac Jones, if he stayed hush-hush and never said a word? That's just an insult to everybody that has a pair of eyes that works, Bill. Okay? And your arrogance is getting tired real fast. Real fucking fast. I want you Bill Belichick ball washers to think about something for a second here. Because I know you can't believe anything. No one can say anything derogatory or question the integrity of Bill Belichick. But I want you to think about something here. If he is all about, okay, setting this team up for success, all right, number one, he doesn't hire these two clowns, number one, okay? He doesn't. And if he did hire them, I understand him wanting to look out for his guys. Give him jobs on defense, special teams. Put him in the front office. Have him make popcorn. Have him wash the docks. I don't care anything. Don't put him in charge of your second-year quarterback. If you're such a genius, Bill Belichick, why didn't you take over the offense? Anyone? I want you all to let that percolate, let that simmer, let that marinate. Why didn't Bill Belichick, the greatest mind in the history of football, take over the offense? Why did he bring in two offensive idiots to do it? Why couldn't he do it himself and have them focus on the defense? I mean, the one thing he got right with two years was Matt Judon, but he gets defensive players right all the time. That's what he knows. He's a glorified defensive coordinator. He drafted Richard Seymour. He drafted Vince Wilfork. He knows defense. But he's an idiot when it comes to offense, and his track record bears that out. So why don't you, okay, if you're that fucking good, why would you experiment with your second-year quarterback, of all fucking people, your number one draft pick, the guy you invested all this money in, with these two bozos? Why didn't you take that over yourself, Bill? Why wasn't it you and Mac running that offense last year? Because no one, and I mean no one that I've heard, have said that yet. And if he's such a fucking genius, you Bill Belichick scrotum-scrubbing ball washers, why couldn't he do that? Why wouldn't he do that? Maybe he's not the genius you thought he was. Maybe he never was. Maybe it was Tom fucking Brady. Maybe it was lightning in a bottle all along. Because from the day Tom Brady left, they have been irrelevant, to quote Damian Woody, who won 2 Super Bowls for the Patriots with Tom Brady. They have been irrelevant. Okay, and by the way, they still don't have a number one receiver. Juju Smith-Schuster is a nice addition. He's probably an upgrade over Jacoby Myers. And it was basically the same contract. Okay, but he's had a 1,400-yard season. He's had better numbers than Jacoby. Okay, but he's a 2 at best. He's not a 1. Okay, he's not a cheetah. He's not an A.J. Brown. He's not a Deebo Samuel. He's not a DK Metcalf. 3 guys that should have been Patriots. Anyone could have been Patriots. But Bill fucked that up. okay? Because he doesn't know what he's looking at, okay? He's none of those three, okay? Furthermore, he's not Jefferson from Minnesota. He's not Adams from the Raiders, okay? He's none of those guys. He's not even a Kelsey, a number one for a tight end. He doesn't have a number one yet. He still doesn't have a number one, okay? Bill O'Brien is a no-brainer, okay? I'm not going to give him credit for that. There was nowhere to go but up. He could have hired me and it would have been an upgrade over those two idiots. Give me a freaking break. Bill O'Brien is a no-brainer, okay? They're going to be better this year because of that right there. But how much better are they going to be? Aaron Rodgers is going to end up on the Jets. I believe you all know that, okay? We'll come hell or high water, and look, kudos to Green Bay for not giving him away. The Jets are going to have to give up something to get him, and they should, because the Jets haven't had a quarterback in who knows since Joe Namath, since Joe Willie, whatever you want to call him. The guy who guaranteed a Super Bowl and delivered it 51 fucking years ago. Or is it 60 now? Whatever it is. Okay? The Packers should dig their heels in on that and not give him up for nothing. And Tom had a problem with that. No, I'm not giving up a 4-time MVP for a freaking one draft. No. Okay? He's worth at least a 1. At least a 1. Okay? And look, at some point they will agree to something, and maybe it's not a 1, maybe they get 2 2s for him or something. But Green Bay should get whatever they can for him and hold out as long as they want to, just to make him twist in the wind for all the bullshit he put them through over the last 18 years. Because Aaron Rodgers choked. Okay? He choked the way Bill Belichick is choking right now. Okay? So the bottom line is, and I got news for you, him going to the Jets doesn't make them they're the 5th best team in the AFC. He goes there as things stand, draft, we don't know what's going to happen in the draft, but they're the 5th best team in the conference at best. Okay? Depending on what the Patriots do. Because the Pats do have a top 10 defense. The Pats have a good young quarterback who I don't really know how good he is yet because he still doesn't have a number 1. I said this about Daniel Jones. Look what this did to Tua when they had Waddle, who's basically a 1, but now they got him and the cheetah. Look what Tua looked like last year. Look what happened, okay, to our boy over there in Philadelphia. Okay, when he got A.J. Brown, look what happened to him. Okay, look what happened to Josh Allen in Buffalo when he got Stephon Diggs. All these great quarterbacks have one thing in common. They've got a number 1 receiver. All the ones that don't, well, they don't look so great, do they? That's not a coincidence, boys and girls. It's a passing league. That is what it is now. And Bill needs to get with the damn times and spend the money on the one thing he's never wanted to spend money on, a receiver. Okay? Because I don't call 3 years, $33 million for Jonnu Smith. He could have kept Jacoby Myers for that money. That's not spending money. No, you got to go out and get a guy. You got to trade for DeAndre Hopkins, or you better stay at that 14th spot in the draft and pick the best receiver available with the 14th pick and try not to fuck it up this time. It's that simple. You want to help your quarterback out? Bill, since you obviously can't coach offense, get him the fucking talent that he needs. Enough of this bullshit. Enough of these B and C level fucking players. Yeah, if Tom Brady's your quarterback, those 4 signings 2 years ago look pretty damn good. Tom Brady can win with that because he's Tom fucking Brady. But there's only one Tom fucking Brady. Tom Brady is one of one, boys and girls. There ain't no Tom Brady out there. And as great as Mac Jones might be, he's never going to be Tom Brady. It's not fair to the kid anyway to put that on him. But could he be a hell of a quarterback? Yeah. Could he be a great quarterback? Yes, he could. But until he gets a number 1, a real, legit number 1, we're never really going to know. Bill O'Brien aside, they'll be better next year on offense. How much better, I don't know. But they need a number 1 if they want to compete. Because until they get a number 1, they got no shot at being a threat to anybody that matters in the AFC. No shot. They might sneak into the playoffs as the 7th wild card again. Oh, that'll be great. So they can get bum blasted by Buffalo again. What was that, 47-17? Yeah, Bill, that'd be great. No, this ain't about being 10-6 or 10-7 or 9-8 and squeaking in. Okay, this is about Super Bowls, Bill. You helped put 6 banners up there. That's the standard. That's the standard that you helped create. So don't get pissed at your fucking fan base. When you set that standard, you expect them to settle for 8 and 9? Are you going to settle for 8 and 9, Bill? Because if you're not going to settle for it, don't expect the people that are spending $300 on a Sunday. That's when I had tickets. It's probably more than that now. Maybe it's $500 on a Sunday. When you shell that kind of money and you're not rich, you expect results. And 8 and 9 is not results, boys and girls. 8 and 9, as Damien Woody had said, is irrelevant. It's mediocre. It doesn't matter. Okay? And that's not what the Patriots are anymore, Bill. They're not going to be irrelevant ever again. It's going to be with you or without you. Because the one thing I do know about billionaires is that they don't like losing money. Robert Kraft has been losing money for 3 years in a row now. That's why he's been a little bit more outspoken, a little bit more in front of the cameras now, expressing some of his discomfort and his distaste and his dislike for what is happening, because he's losing money, Bill. And at some point, all that loyalty and all those banners, which Bill should have figured out was all Tom and more Tom than you, that's going to come to an end. okay? I'm here to tell you right here and now, as we stand on April 11, 2023, Bill Belichick, you are on the hot seat. I don't care what anyone up in Boston says. I don't care what the media in Boston says. I don't care what expatriates say. You are on the hot seat, Bill Belichick. I told Sean Darcy, who will do a show with us this summer. Hi, how are you doing, Sean? Good to see you. That we would revisit this again. And I was going to give him 4 years as opposed to 3, because with Brady, he won in 2. Well, Tom Brady ain't here, okay? So we're going to give him 4 years. This is the last year for me. If they don't get to the playoffs and win a game, because to me, a successful season next year would be to get to the playoffs and win a game, okay? Bill Belichick needs to go. I'm saying it right now. He needs to go. If they do not get in the playoffs and win a game, he needs to go. You're not going to sacrifice this quarterback or their future. Because, by the way, if you get rid of Mac Jones now, you're going to set yourself back 5-6 years. And they are not going to do that up there, boys and girls. They are not going to pay that money. And from what I was told from some of my friends that were up there, that stadium was looking awfully empty at the second half of the season. Robert Kraft is losing millions. And he is not going to continue to lose millions of dollars when he knows that the game has changed. And maybe it's passed his coach by. And while he wants to see him break that Shula record, that's not as important as winning another championship or getting the playoffs and being a legit threat in the AFC, which right now the Patriots are not. So in lieu of them pulling off a deal for DeAndre Hopkins, which I'm not holding my breath on, or drafting this kid from Ohio State at the 14th pick, all right, I don't want to hear about Trey Flowers either. Trey Flowers, to me, if you've watched Trey Flowers at BC, first of all, you're lucky to see him because he hasn't finished a season last year, so he's injury prone. Trey Flowers, talent-wise, yeah. Durability-wise, no. The best ability is availability. And all Trey Flowers has proven over the last 2 years at BC is he's not available. So why would you draft him with the 14th pick? Okay? And this is what really scares me. He'll think he can get him in the second round because he can in the third round. He'll draft some freaking lineman or some defensive player, and that would make them marginally better, but not really. No, that's not going to do it. He has to draft a number 1 receiver at the 14th pick. I'm not holding my breath because, frankly, it's not in Bill Belichick's MO to do that. So he better trade for DeAndre Hopkins, or he better draft any one of those players. He better stay at 14 and get himself a receiver. That should be the number 1 priority. Get your fucking quarterback a legit number 1 threat, because that changes everything. A legit number 1 on the outside changes everything. And I've got a slew of offenses I can throw at you. Well, legit number 1, you can look at where those teams finished, offensively speaking, and you're not going to tell me I'm wrong. Okay? So anyway, that's where I stand on that. Okay, stop. Enough with the drama, Bill Belichick. Stop insulting your fan base, okay? They knew you fucked up before Mac Jones started doing what he was doing. So don't get mad about Mac. Don't get mad at Mac Jones for going outside the organization for help, because we're getting no help from you. You did a little bit. You did something. You got Bill O'Brien back. Now go get him another. You want to help Mac Jones, Bill Belichick? Stop trying to shop him around and give me this business bullshit and create drama. Get him a number 1 and shut the fuck up. That's all I have to say about that. We'll be back segment 2. We're going to have positive thoughts. Well, some positive thoughts. We're going to talk Boston Celtics. The playoffs are upon us. The Atlanta Falcons, we're beating Miami. We'll check in on that game real quick. Sum up the Bruins in segment 3. So you guys get a frosty cold one, a delicious beverage, or find Yoda or whoever, and I'll see you on the other side in just a few minutes.